Do it. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wait, what's this called? Big announcement coming soon? Yeah,
3, 2.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And welcome back to the Big Announcement Coming Soon podcast. We're here on a red day with Law and David. Nick is headed back to Vietnam from Bangkok. Or no, he's headed back to Bangkok from Vietnam. And if you've been following Nick from following the show, you're probably into the Solana memes. He has been having a heck of a time. I listened to some flute. It sounded very goblin-esque, but not to say head goblin vibes, but interesting little project there. But more so, yesterday I started prepping, writing my notes, and I've got the things I want to talk about. And of course, heck yeah, normies don't know. Bitcoin's going up, ETF's coming imminently, and it's down 6% this morning. So that sucks. Good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Mm-hmm.
GM.
Good.
So yeah, we dumped. I mean, we have topics to talk about, but let's start with it's Wednesday morning here in the U.S. We're waking up to Bitcoin down. Let me just flip over to this chart real quick.
Well, I mean, I'm in Europe, so you guys just woke up to this, but it was going just swimmingly until about 3 hours ago, and then just a huge dump out of nowhere. So they say it's because Matrixport said that they're going to deny the ETF. Some rumors running around about ETF needing more time to approve, but like, I don't know, seems a little bit like the rules are that you're supposed to approve it by this date, and a lot of these big players are wanting to have it approved, and they're just going to sue you as soon as you don't do it. So I don't know. I'm still in the it's going to be approved camp, but watch out for people messing with your mind in the meantime.
Mm-hmm. Law, what do you think?
This is all still so fresh for me right now, and I just know how things get pushed back all the time, especially when it comes to a lot of these regulatory things. But I know they need to get their shit together and get this shit figured out. And I think it's just one of those things, man. I'm here for the long run, regardless. So
Mm-hmm.
here for it. Pushed or not pushed, it eventually will get pushed, and we'll get there.
And we've all been around long enough. We remember every bull run there's 25% pullbacks over 2 days and 20%. So this is a 5 or 6%. It's based on not just the news of the ETF coming and like you said, Matrixport, which is is a Jihanwoon chain, or it was I started reading about it this morning. It's I'm
It's
not sure exactly what it
advisory,
is. It's just an
something like that.
advisory. Okay.
Did you guys really consider this like last few weeks, a month of a bull run?
I went 4 years. Where's 4 year cycle, dude? So for me, the bull run started basically at the end of the FTX capitulation a year ago.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like the first part of the bull run, and so you kind of have like I guess like the correction come towards the beginning of Q1 for a little bit, a couple months, maybe like January, February,
hmm
as it kind of like gets a little frothy, and maybe even now, but like kind of doesn't make sense with the ETF coming. But
But the
and then off we
frothiness,
go
you
into
gotta
next year.
flush longs in a froth. So
Yeah.
in traditional market makers, you get overloaded. People are paying too much for longs. Anybody who wasn't longing this past weekend with all the hype and the news incoming, um, I'm okay. I say anybody wasn't. I wasn't. I'm still holding spot from 2017 or 2018. um, but you got to flush it. If you're a market maker and you start flushing a little bit and people are way over leveraged and up, it could be as simple as that of pushing that out with the news because I'm with David. Bull run started, November 20 blah, 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 after FTX. I can't remember 21 or 22. 22. Um,
2 year ago,
but
year and
the
a half.
people at work who I know who own a little bit of crypto aren't talking about it. It's not in the zeitgeist yet. So, did we start the bull run? Yes, but we started it with people in crypto who are the new folks aren't here. The new class, as they say, of people interested and hyped up and excited isn't here, but they don't get here at the beginning, right? Everyone who caught the bull run starting in 2022 got lucky, and everybody who joins later wishes they got lucky. But so yeah, the bull run hype excitement is just building, and we get the news on Thursday or Friday. It's going to be intense, but we all have been happy for a while. Bitcoin's up 3x, plenty of things. Solana's up 10x, well, 8 as of today. So it's been a really good run. Imagine getting an 8x off of a shitcoin, a sort of temporary failed project in the normal markets.
No
Yeah.
doubt. And kind of the point I was trying to make here is that there's not really very many new wallets being created that on some of these familiar main blockchains, right? I think all the new and new liquidity is really coming from the shit coins on
Hmm.
Solana and stuff like that. But as far as like brand new people coming to the space, I just don't really see it happening right now. Therefore, I've been having a hard time calling it a bull run.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it's
Hmm.
definitely like the nascent start of it. It's like so it's kind of almost, you can see like the VCs or the early money, like the how like trading houses they're in, kind of positioning themselves into it's kind of almost like DeFi summer before we started to kind of really have the bull run last time, where like Link went nuts and like we had all these DeFi protocols pop up, and then there was like a big decline. Um, but that was almost used kind of like the VCs and all the rest of the people kind of positioning themselves. It's kind of almost like as Bitcoin came back up, people came back to the market, and they don't come back and they're like, I'm going to buy Bitcoin. They come back with their bias and they're like, okay, I'm going to buy Solana. That's my favorite coin. And they buy it. And so like all the people who have like been in crypto before and are like reallocating have now like reallocated. So then
Hmm.
we have kind of a bit of a flush as they kind of like, anybody who's paper handing it like kind of gets pushed out. But then as Bitcoin, enters the zeitgeist by virtue of going to new highs or ETFs being approved or whatever in like 2024, the first thing is like, I mean, I just remember when I came to the market, I was like, okay, I must have missed Bitcoin. What's next?
Hmm.
And that's really the starting gun of like what we consider as the bull market. So it's kind of like this, now we're coming here, and then 2025, super crazy. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty exciting. I think what I'm kind of interesting right now is like what's happening. What happens if they launch the ETF and the Bitcoin price doesn't crash, it doesn't really go up, but people like cycle into ETH. Um, and like other alts and stuff like that. It's a potential of that because that's kind of the thing. It's like, oh, the ETF got launched. I'm not going to buy Bitcoin. I'm going to buy the other thing. And you
Hmm.
kind of get that second wave of people coming in with like, okay, now I'm really convinced. Um,
Well,
and then
different
I think
ways.
like
It's
you
going to
see a
be
crash at the end of
ETF
February,
buyers
January.
and then hype buyers who go to Coinbase as just a general basic two groups. So you're saying the hype buyers show up after the institutions are buying Bitcoin, think they've missed it, hop onto Coinbase, and well, we know the strategy. ADA's alphabetically
Real,
first, so we pump ADA.
yeah, real hype buyers don't come, I think, until like late 2024. I think like
Can we
you're
just
right.
manifest that into the universe, please?
Yeah, totally. I mean, buying,
No,
that's
I've
why
done
I'm
that
bullish
trade
on
twice. I don't
Arbitrum.
want to do it again.
Yeah, you got to start. It
I'm
starts
still in
today,
that
and it's
trade.
not. Yeah, you'll go. Excellent marketing.
Okay, so trades we've been in, and as Dave was talking about this, I remember catching Matic early. What was his Wolf of All Streets was shilling it, and turns out he was shilling a short term trade, and 2.5 years later or a year later it was like 40x, and I was super happy. The market cap is what is it of Matic? I forgot to look up. That was in my notes to look
6
up before the
billion
show.
probably.
Okay, six. It was about 25, 30 billion. Top last, the last run. Every time there's a bull run, market caps go and replace their old high for most coins. So I've been looking at Arbitrum and I've bought some. Um, it's got a 2.5 bill, 3 bill market cap. It is an L2 like Matic. So this was an easy trade. And this is simply looking back and remembering is if it's not dead, it's a cycle. Now, does
So
it do what
new.
Matic did? No, hopefully. But looking simply at those market cap numbers, it would be silly for it not to reach Matic's previous bull run high because most of those
The way I think about
coins
it.
surpass, Bitcoin has a high, ETH surpasses it next cycle. So, ETH has a high, Matic runs up, I remember ETH being in the 40 billion range until Matic touches it. And you're like, well, what is that coin? And it's interesting to look at these cycles as there's the intertrading and like David said, the 4 year. What's the 4 year market cap? Because that's a super simple number to trade compared to did it go up or down 10%, 5%?
Yeah, it's a good way of thinking about it. If you think about the market's going to inflate by a certain amount, which coins have the staying power in marketing to get a almost guaranteed percentage higher, and then just put your money on those things and don't try and like, okay, what's the next dog coin, whatever. Like, so for example, with Arbitrum, and I'm a huge Arbitrum bull, but basically, it's the leading L1.
L2
It's processing the same amount of L2 of Ethereum.
of the leading
So
L1. Yeah.
Ethereum is of the leading L1. Ethereum is like not going away. It's here to stay. All the banks use it, most developers, etc. But it can't scale. And so the leading L1 is Arbitrum, and its market cap is 2 billion. And Solana's market cap is currently 45 billion, and it's processing the same amount of value. Yeah, it's a great sit and wait kind of situation. Because you don't need to be like too hasty, like everything's coming, like the bull market, like like we're all kind of agreeing it's not like in earnest here, so it could go down, but in the current environment, like it just broke all-time highs. There's no salty supply above, so nobody's like left there. Everyone who's owned it basically is in profit at this point. So that's kind of I don't know. I mean, I remember back in the day, like Neo was one of my first coins and shares and shit becoming Neo, and like I don't know, like be careful with Dino coins. They're not always going to pump as much as like new coins, and like Arbitrum has a really solid case behind why it's why it's there. Optimism as well. I like this Ethereum trade going into 2024 personally, but also you have to hold Sol. Sol is like powerful. It's going to be going a lot higher.
Hey, so you mentioned Sol's current market cap, TVL, total value, lock, and Arbitrum is up there with Sol's. Sol's big issue lately has been they're apparently with the inflation subsidizing about 100 mil per quarter of gas for miners. So Arbitrum cheap compared to L2, but you pay 80 cents a transaction compared to half a penny. So does Sol work? Do we need to raise gas, right? Why, if Arb and Optimism are similar solutions and they're 8 times more, 80 times more expensive, still cheap. Um, does Sol last doing that at its market cap? Like,
I mean, I think you can. Yeah, I think you can change tokenomics. I think it's easy to step in. There's a lot of value in Sol. And the problem is like just size, right? Like it is a bespoke chain. Like there is Bitcoin money, and then there's Ethereum global computer. And like Sol is kind of like bespoke global computer. I don't know. And so like maybe it outperforms Ethereum over the long term, but first mover advantage is so huge. And Ethereum is just a behemoth. And so like I think you're just playing in a smaller pool, so you might as well play in the biggest pool where the biggest liquidity is going to come initially. And I think that's why Sol had its run first, right? Because you saw what happens when a lot of liquidity comes. Ethereum hasn't had that yet because it's so much bigger. But as that liquidity flows towards it, it's like a bigger wave coming, and it's just like, oh my godness. And so yeah, like people don't tend to think in log, they think in linear. And so people don't really think every time we go through this, like there's no way things are going to go like 20x, 100x, or whatever. But it'll happen again, and we'll just be just as amazed then, and be great.
so Dino
Manifesting.
coins, and this is the first cycle with, God, I hate that I'm going to say it because I have a lot and I like them. Dino NFTs. And if we're talking these cycles, right? If you're 2 years old, apes are dinos, right? That's the big NFT everyone talks about. That's a cycle ago. Will they do well? Yeah, Ethereum did well. Other things come back every cycle, or made safe coin, things go away. So, Law, are we trading NFTs like we're trading the market, or can some of these, it's communities and stuff, can they build past that, or are they just going to hit the cycles as well? And then some will do well price wise, regardless of how many enthusiastic members they have, and some are gone.
It's a good question, and I like to believe that the market is kind of maturing in a sense to where the technology is kind of evolving past um this market that traders have kind of created around it to where it's the same hype that worked in 2021 doesn't work anymore. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Hmm.
And you kind of have to like sell this idea of a team that's building something bigger, you know, something cool and actually useful in my opinion. And it's there's definitely no how-to book on exactly like how to create a project, and I think that we're just kind of seeing those history books written today and we're seeing projects try new things during the bear market, whatever you want to call it, and they've kind of just been D gods went over to Ethereum, and now they're kind of dealing with that process. And the board apes made these attempts of these a few games that might have flopped or not done so well. And I think people have just been trying new things to try to write those history books today and figure that out, because certainly a lot of projects aren't making money selling
Hmm.
NFTs right now. So they're coming to the notepad and they're trying to figure out sustainable business models to keep their projects going. And for a lot of people that means starting over.
Yeah, I think a lot of people preach community, but it was the bull run. Prices were going up, and through the bear, do people stick around? Is it a community? Like, is there any of the actual value that's sold with an NFT with that NFT project? I mean, yes, for some, and I've been in creating spaces, and you guys have taken a significant turn. I was listening to the folks from Megadeth talking 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, and they did a drop with Wicked Craniums. Wicked Craniums is now Black Chip Inc. company, not a I'm not going to say rug that gets handed over community, but we know how people treat. We're handing this to the community, and sometimes it's to get more voices, more involvement, and other times it's a way to just exit without totally rugging. You guys went company, and as a Wicked Craniums holder, I think it's more valuable for me. I know I'm pretty sure the price is kind of the same, but versus the community. So why that route? And like you're saying, that the teams behind certain projects that are working, the teams that aren't working behind other projects, and what they're titling, like that approach, because you could say every NFT project that says it's community based, if they have a core group, they're a company. You guys have
Mhm.
incorporated, you are a company. And
Yeah.
what was that choice like, and what does that mean, company versus community?
Well, what's really cool about Black Chip is that it's a company that's built by the Wicked Cranium team, right? So it wasn't like
An outsider didn't
like
buy you guys. It's
an
you,
outsider. Yeah.
Caruso. It's the original crew.
Yeah, original crew was with a bunch of new talent put on that are people that are going to be much needed to take us to that next step. And simply, we had this idea of this utility called the Cradle, and we worked on that for the last 2 years as the Wicked Cranium team. And over the years, that idea really just evolved and became this this utility, this tool that is much more um, crucial to the music industry that we originally thought. And just putting in the years of that idea developing, it made sense that what we should do is create a a new team, like a new brand, a company, and create a business model that actually makes it so that we can start making money,
Hmm.
and that would benefit the NFT holders that are a part of it. And that means Wicked Craniums. That means Murderhead Death Club as the more opportunities that come for us via Black Chip and everything that we're doing with True Stub. Then that means the more opportunities that Craniums holders get, the more opportunities that Murderhead Death Club will get. and etc.
So you talked about like this is an opportunity to make money, and if I mean people make money selling their NFTs. You're talking about long-term money coming in, managing where does it go, tax benefits for certain things because you're a company. It's not just the
A
company would be,
tool, a
yeah.
tool that uses blockchain technology that rewards NFT holders and people that use the service 100%.
Could you have done the growth without incorporating? Do you think it would have been possible to get where you are without that support?
From the community?
No, well, I mean, in this case, I think the Wicked Creators community has been around. It's been maybe a tight couple hundred, and then a couple thousand dedicated holders, and then a few thousand NFTs that do trade. That community seems to have been solid, but by changing it, there's like you said, the opportunity to make money, the growth. What's changed there? Like if you had just stayed community and you and Caruso and the other folks had built this up with no structure, would it have worked?
No, I think eventually it would flatline, right? Because we're in a space of innovation, and let's face it, dude, like people like including myself, like you got to keep you got to keep pushing those boundaries of innovation and keep delivering new things, especially as this tech evolves and we live in a space where 1 week can feel like years
Mm-hmm.
because so much is being developed so quickly, right? So I think it's important to keep it, moving, and really this whole black chip idea just gives us more opportunity to collaborate with musicians and more projects and bands. And the way I've always seen it, man, is you don't just have one CD in your record collection. You listen to Sabbath, you listen to fucking Megadeth,
Mm-hmm.
you listen to Iron Maiden.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't just go and buy a fucking Loud Punks, you buy a Cranium and get access to more shows. You buy a Deathbat and get access to Avenged Sevenfold shows and etc. And I really see the music space as like this fun zone of collaboration, and it really already is that way. We collaborate with all the fun people and do shit in real life, and that I think that's what's really kind of just helped our community stick together and be stoked because we're all about delivering those new experiences and making them different and all that really gives back to the artist as well.
Yeah. And like I said, like you said, the same people became Black Chip Inc. You didn't get bought out by the Liquid Death people who do Murder Heads or
Right.
Mustaine's company. So it makes a lot of sense because as people become as NFT projects change, we're still defining what it is and how beholden are we to the original what they said in 2021, 2022, like when the projects launch versus when they change. So I think it's interesting that the basics haven't changed. It's community, it's music, and you guys incorporated. Somebody didn't find it and go, "Oh, we'll buy you out and make it big," and then they're a normal company who misses the whole first 18 months of Wicked Games, which built us, which is why we're still here with it.
Perfect. Yep.
I mean, I think for anything, like if it's to grow, you need to be able to achieve like a stability level where like, so if people are participating in a group and there's no kind of central like like ownership of people doing things and like pushing the vision forward, then you own tenuous shares of a group and you're only tenuously involved. But like if you kind of expect things from like a centralized, I guess like the employees, so to speak, of the DAO, that's always a good thing. I mean, like that's how I own like crypto NFTs. It's always behind a team who's doing stuff. Who are like, yeah, cool. I like what you guys are doing. You have a lot of, you know, you're belonging to an organization. And yeah, next step is to like actually incorporate and like take it seriously because that's, I mean, that Project Penguins is like you can't get stuff listed in Walmart unless you have like a team that are like actually going and doing
Mm-hmm.
visioning
Because you
and
have
making
Penguins,
decisions because you can't
Blueberries.
like just put everything to everyone.
So
Yeah.
Blueberries is an NFT you hold that's a trading based one for Arbitrum. They're community still, right? But they offer solid benefits, like you said, because the group is still there. Would you want them to incorporate into
Yeah, definitely,
something
because they're
formal?
kind of just, it's a bit of a shambles, to be honest. They're just, nothing happens there. They're just like a token. It can't, like, not like a, not a token's back forward. Just a, oh, we have an NFT project and it's these berries, and it does this small thing. But like, yeah, if they actually took it more seriously, they could, because yeah, it could be something, but they don't, because I think it's just like a thing that nobody's really focusing on. So
So you're
yeah.
saying that underlying wake up in the morning commitment, if you're part of a community, it's a little bit optional, even if you're a developer in the community. And if you're part of a company, it's a little more mandatory and things move forward.
I mean, all that shit was
Yeah.
really exciting at one time, right? Like joining an NFT project and getting airdropped these tokens, and that was the part of the roadmap for so many fucking projects, right? And I
Mhm.
think you live through that hype cycle, and if you don't have more to deliver after that, and you're just simply spending months and months of just collecting this token for what?
Mhm.
For
I mean,
fucking
it is got, like, if you were talking about DAOs and governance, I mean, it's the kind of, it's the reason the Senate exists the way it does in the States, right? So like, you have to be able to protect against the tyranny of the majority, because essentially what will happen is people who are only lightly invested in a project, when the times get tough, they're like, how do we gut this for money? And you're like, well,
Mhm.
that's not the point. We're trying to push through the hard times. You need the serious people to actually be in charge at those times, not just like anybody who wants to. And so like, you have to have tiers of buy-in. You can't just, anybody who bought in gets to now rug everybody.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Oh, my last thoughts for today. I'm gonna finish on a good one because this is not our first cycle for any of us here. So I'm gonna jump back to I'm
Quick
just
question: doesn't this show
oh
like
yeah.
abruptly end at some point? Like,
Oh no, we cut off of Zoom and went on to Google Hangouts. 'Cause Zoom cut us at 40 minutes, but
okay,
yeah.
cool.
So I've got the Binance BTC USDT chart up again. We're at 42.1. Um, and I realize people watching can see this, y'all can't. As I'm holding up that horizontal line, we are in range, right? We pumped up to 40 on the 3rd of December, and we're in that 40 to 45 range. We haven't dipped down. I feel like oh golly, as I do that, 36 is the range below, but this feels okay.
yeah, it's, I mean, I would say, to be, from what people are saying, it's not pretty, to be honest. Like, it shouldn't have done that. Like, it should have maybe come down to like, yeah, I guess 43.8 or something. But the fact that it capitulated all the way down to 40, bounced back up, and now is like at the midline of the range, it's just not what a powerful move, like a powerful coin should be doing at the moment. What that, I don't know, who knows? Maybe it's just like some whale got freaked out and was like, holy shit, I think I know what the future is, and the CME is, or it's not happening, and they're jumping, or it's all psyops and BlackRock's trying to steal your money before it launches. I don't know,
Mhm.
but yeah. It's
Yeah.
generally like, if you're in Bitcoin, like, I don't know, if you're in Bitcoin, it's better than being in alts, because it's only going to dump a certain amount. So just kind of hold on and like, don't really be too
Well, you
worried
say
about
that
alts.
sitting on a bunch of Arbitrum that's up 2% today. It's the only thing
That's
up.
true. That's true. Yeah. So, but this is just one of my long play, because Arbitrum is my baby. So, yeah, that was a good play today. But compared to my Bitcoin position, it's nothing.
And Law and I just nodded at when you said psyops, right? Like we started talking about you got to flush longs to move up. You can't have all the degens make the money. The market maker's got to make some. And we've seen it before. You flush before a big move, see if you can get weak hands out. I'm psyoping is my vote, but some of that is copium hopium because it should be up only.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Always
Yeah,
psyop. Always.
yeah, I've got bullish bias. I mean, there's nothing bearish about this right now. It's a lot of selling volume today, huge selling volume, and it didn't break below the midline, so that's bullish.
Hmm. Well, gentlemen, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. See you back here.
Hell yeah.
Sounds good. Let's see what happens.
If you made it this
Also,
far, oh,
props to Law with a hat.
Next week I'll bring my tinfoil hat.
Yeah, nice.
you got to get
Love
the
that.
cowboy hat with little cutouts so the headphones fit through.
That would be dope, dude.
Mhm.
Okay, guys, great catching up with you. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching, and we'll see where the markets are at next time.
Wait, what's this called? Big
Totally.
announcement coming soon? Oh,
Enjoy.
yeah. 5, 4, 3.
Later, guys.